we need to talk about the AI in this game, okay? So, oh, here we go. You'll see it right now. This grenadier is able to shoot at me with pinpoint accuracy. Okay, let me give you some backstory. So, there was this group of enemies here. I came in this way. I skipped the toll. Over here, I'm shooting at these enemies. This grenadier, one of them, hears me and starts trying to shoot at me from over the building. Which, first of all, I don't think those enemies should be doing that to begin with, because that's stupid. But it's shooting at me. And I continue fighting these enemies. This guy takes a few more shots at me. I finish with this group. And then once I'm done, I come down here. And I'm standing like about here or so. And I wanted to see if this grenadier would keep shooting at me. And it turns out that it does. It keeps shooting at me anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter where I move over here. I have multiple layers of objects in between me and where this grenadier is. Because this grenadier is inside the walls. So I've got that wall. This wall right here, and multiple objects in between us. This grenadier can't see me. I've been over here for the past 5 minutes, not firing a weapon. No enemy has seen me. I have not done anything. Nothing. And yet somehow, some way, this grenadier always knows exactly where I am. And if you give it a minute, I'm sure he's going to try shooting at me. Whether he actually gets the shots over the walls or not, it depends on where he is exactly. But the shots are going to come over. You can hear the shots there. He's trying to. So he knows exactly where I am. He's wall hacking. This is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. Hello, this is future me talking. So it's at about this time in the video that I start getting very upset about what's happening. And I don't want to be sitting here yelling at you. I would rather be talking to you about what's happening. But this issue with grenadiers has been ongoing for a while. I think that they engage with you from too far away. They start taking shots at you when I can't even see them. And this is the worst that I've seen it, because I have completely broken line of sight. I could still be standing where I am. I could have moved somewhere else and not been in line of sight to this grenadier at all. In fact, I haven't even seen this grenadier yet. But the fact that it knows where I am, knows where to place the shots. I haven't seen him. He apparently sees me somehow. It's egregious, to be honest with you. This is the most egregious example of the grenadiers and their tracking. Is absolutely insane. They start shooting at you from so far away. In fact, when I came into this map, I came in over here. By the way, it says there's protective devices. That's bullshit. There's nothing there. It's completely empty. They need to fix that. I jump up these cliffs here, and my goal this game was to just look for valuables, because I'm looking for more gold. So I'm searching around up here. Don't find anything. And no enemies either. I come across the bridge. Didn't find any valuables. I took a peek over the bridge to look at the enemies down there, because I was like, it's an easy group of enemies, and yet I'm getting indicators for 5 grenadiers. I have no idea why an easy group of enemies has 5 grenadiers. That seems like at least a medium difficulty, but whatever. As far as I know, I'm not seen. I come back across the bridge. I start to go down this slope, thinking I might find some valuables over here. I'll avoid this group. One grenadier wanders up here, sees me, takes a few shots. I run back here to hide from it, and I'm hiding behind some rocks. It's kind of wandering around up here, but it doesn't seem to know where I am. I'm just sitting here, and then all of a sudden, I get hit by 3 rounds from one of the grenadiers. And I don't think that it was this one that came up here and saw me, because I did not hear it fire off any shots. And trust me, I've played enough of this fucking game. If there's a grenadier here taking shots and I'm over here, I'm gonna hear it. There's no way I'm not gonna hear it. I will hear those shots. I didn't hear anything. So that tells me that some grenadier down here knew where I was and took shots at me from here or here and went all the way over to here and hit me. And that cost me my first mistake. That is bullshit. But that's what happens so often with these grenadiers, is they are able to see so far. Because there's another thing I wanted to point out. I was going to make this like a brief 30-second clip, and now I'm just going off. Another thing, why are these groups of enemies so close to each other? There's no shot that you can come in here and engage with one of these groups. If you try to take one of these, you'll track the other and this one. Or if you try to take this one, you will end up attracting both of these two. Because groups of enemies tend to wander around in a pretty large area. I've talked about this before, about the enemy placements and how I think that they're too close together and the enemies tend to wander in a relatively large area around where they're supposed to spawn, and how I don't like that. And maybe this is the point. Maybe sometimes you go into a level, you look at the map and say, nah, screw this is a bad layout, and you just leave. Because there is a placebo pill that you can buy from the merchant that re-rolls where enemies are placed. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's part of the design, that you're supposed to re-roll for better layouts, but that feels wrong. Watch this. Give it a second. Let it play out. Excuse me. Warden wails and wakes the darkness around you. Excuse me. The warden is out here. Okay, let's see that again. We're backing up and we're slowing this down, okay? So I come up here. I'm engaging with this group of enemies. I'm shooting at them. I haven't taken any damage myself. The only thing that's happening is that I'm being slowed down from the freezing crystal, which I have not seen where it is yet. I come around here, don't get hit, and this is when the mistake happens. Now, I'm baffled because I have no idea what I did. I can't find any reasons for this, because this is not how the warden is supposed to work. The warden has a lantern. If you get too close within the light of his lantern that he carries, that will set him off. This is not the first time that this has happened either, because I've been on the Scarlet Coast and this map, honestly, when the warden has spotted me like that. And it's totally incongruent with how this enemy is supposed to work, because you're not supposed to get too close to him, but sometimes he can just spot you from across the map for some reason. Still haven't found any valuables. Okay, here again. Here we go again. I was just fighting those enemies. I stopped fighting. Haven't fired my weapon. No enemies have seen me. And yet that grenadier knows where I am. He can't possibly see me. He can't possibly know where I am. I could have left. I could have walked away somewhere. Yet it doesn't matter. I'm sure he'll fire again, and it'll hit right in this area where I am, because he just knows where I am. Oh, there he is. Moved over there. Tried taking a shot at me, but the walls and stuff were in the way. But he knows where I am. I got that arrow indicator. He knows where I am. There are no enemies. There's a couple enemies over here. I can move out of sight. They're down there. They can't see me. There's no way that they can see me. But he's taking shots at me. There it comes. Getting exactly where I was. No enemies have seen me. I moved over here. He's below me. I'm above him. Cannot possibly know where I am, and yet knows exactly where I am. That is bullshit. That is serious bullshit. And it should not be happening. It shouldn't be happening. I didn't even find any valuables. The whole point was to find valuables. I didn't find any. Now I'm just gonna leave. I've got one or two more things to talk about, and those are enemy pathing and the placement of enemies on the map. So I'm inside the castle here, and there's a couple of things I wanted to see. I noticed that in the bridge there are gaps in the wood planks, and I wanted to see if you could shoot through those gaps, or if that was, because not something that you can shoot through. Because, you know, in some games you'll have an object that has holes in it, but you can't actually shoot through it or put anything through it. That's not the case here. You can shoot through these gaps, so fine. I wanted to take pop shots at the enemies on the other side of the bridge here to see if I could get rid of them all, and then, you know, what would they do? And as it turns out, a lot of those enemies will sit there and try to take shots at you, but there are several enemies that end up running all the way through the castle to come up behind me and start attacking me. They go down off the bridge, across the river, through the front gate, go through that market area, up the stairs, turn left, and come towards where the bridge is. They will run all that way just to get to me. I don't know what's going on here, but I know that shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't be going that far away to get to you. And this builds on the point that I made either in this video or the last video previously, that I think enemies roam around over a much larger distance than I would expect, a much larger radius than I would expect from looking at where the enemy positions are on the map. Just in this video earlier, I was talking about those grenadiers and that easy group of enemies, and how I was on that flat part out there where the bridge is, and I was going to come down more in the northern portion because I thought I could go that way and not encounter any enemies, because the indicator for where the enemies were further south along the river. But no, that's not true, because there was that grenadier wandering around up there. So if these enemies are inhabiting an area that they control within, then honestly, I think they should change the icons. I think they should change it to something that represents a larger area that is closer to where the enemies are actually going to be. And you can do that. You can have a highlighted area. That would be fine, because it feels terrible to be looking at the map, trying to pick a path where you can avoid enemies, and then you round a corner or come through an area and go, what are you doing here? The enemy indicator is all the way over there. I'm over here. What are you doing over here with me? Oh, hurt you. Oh, that's fucked up. They ran... They ran... Wait a minute. Oh, you're part of the hunt. Okay. But you just spawned right in front of me. They ran all the way through here to get to me. And then the crystal showed up over here. So this is the final thing. I really don't have anything else to add here. Enemies should not be running that sort of distance just to get to you, and then the crystal shows up in a completely different area inside the castle, while the group of enemies originated from outside of the castle. They need to look at this. I hope that the developer sees this, and I hope that they can take a look at these problems, because this is silly.